Here we are again. This is a video on this tiny cabin that I'm building. As you can see, I say tiny cabin, but it's not as tiny as some of the tiny homes out there slash tiny cabins that you might see. When this is done and said, it's going to be roughly 500 square feet, including the loft. And the loft has as I believe I covered before, the loft has a ceiling height of 7 feet in the usable space. And that's all some of the requirements there for county code for permits for that to actually be considered a habitable room. And along with that, then you need your egress window as well too. A window large enough per specification, once again, the county code, that somebody could fit out of the window if you needed to, in case of a fire. As you can see, since the last video, a lot of work has happened here, gone on. It's been a while, so forgive me here on my memory. But if I remember correctly, the rafters were not up. Those are 2x12s. 2x12 rafters are roughly just a little shy of 16 feet per rafter. I started off, I'd built 2 trusses. My fiance, she was out here and she helped me stand up the first 2 trusses. And well, she helped me stand them up, but before I even stood up the second one, I stood the first one back down because I failed to take accurate measurements, and then I was really struggling with getting the second one to be the same. So anyhow, just advice there. Make sure you write your measurements down. It can save you a lot of time once you do figure them out. I didn't go about the formula that you can use or with the carpenter square, although I have a couple carpenter squares. I was, I guess, a little bit more stubborn, saying, oh, I can figure this out by myself. And it's definitely really useful to use those formulas, because if not, it takes you a while with all the considerations to figure them out. So anyhow, with all that being said, as you can see here, yep, it's got a metal roof on it. That is Galvalume. It's been around for probably 100 years, on the market or being used for roofing material. It's what you call a 5-rib, if you want to talk about profile. There's your standing seam 5-rib and probably a few other ones out there. I'm not real familiar with all of them. But you got Galvalume and Galvalume Plus, which I may have seen when I was buying the Galvalume, or when I was considering it and looking at prices. And the Galvalume Plus, I guess, has a coating on it, kind of a clear coating. The Galvalume, regular Galvalume does not. But it is, I guess it's a alloy of some sort, and it's supposed to resist to a certain degree corrosion and rusting. But then with that, some of you out there may remember or may know about, is there's a paint that you can put on that. It's kind of like a tar consistency. You can just roll that right on. It's got a silver color, so you can still maintain the reflectiveness there of the roofing, and it can just absolutely last forever, absolutely forever. And part of my reasoning for going with metal over shingles, well, aesthetics. I like the look of it. Shingles are fine, but I like the look of it. When you talk about as far as keeping a place cooler, that sun just bounces right off of the metal. And also too with the pitch here. With asphalt shingles, it's a sponge. It's a sponge. It absolutely traps it and holds it in, make everything hot. You know, just heating and cooling after, you know, and there's a reason why those shingles only last anywhere from 10 to maybe 30 years, because of all those factors. So the roof was challenging enough to do one time. You know, and there's little things in here I learned here and there. We won't discuss those now, but you know, I really don't want to have to do it again. You know, putting a coat of paint on it, you know, with a long paint pole is fine. You know, I can do that, you know, eventually if I need to. But anyhow, also too, through a local hardware store, I probably paid, when it's all done and said, I still have some pieces of trim I have to go order. I'm gonna try to order those today for the gable ends. They didn't carry that. It'll probably run me about $1,000 for the roof. But we're talking each side of this roof is roughly 320 square feet. So you're talking about covering 640 square feet. So if you start to break that down per, unit of cost per square foot or per square, it may even be cheaper than asphalt shingles, well, depending on the lifespan you get on them. And asphalt shingles, if you've done any roofing, are quite heavy. Trying to carry up a pack. Not saying this Galvalume is the lightest, but I have a joint there. So I had 2 sets of panels. So definitely lightened it up some, and then you, in a stack, you take them and you pre-drill all your holes while they're in a stack so all your holes line up. And you only have to measure once on your holes, that sort of thing. But if you guys ever have any questions in regards to any of this, feel free, to, once I post these, feel free to, shoot me a message or whatever, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. Once again, I am not a builder. I do something completely unrelated for a job, for a career. But, I believe if you're willing, if you really want to, that most everyone out there can do this sort of thing. I'm a little bit larger guy than most. I'm 6'2", weigh in at 200 pounds, so I have a bigger frame than most. But whether you do it on a smaller scale or get a buddy to help lift these things into place, which is always helps out. You guys out there too, if you really want to do something like this, you can do it. You just got to be, just got to have that desire to do it. So that's enough for this video, and I'll get back to you guys, and maybe I'll do some catch-ups on some videos here and talking about some other things with this. But once again, sorry about the pause between videos there. But I think most of you understand, once you get building, if you're on a limited time frame or have only a certain amount of time off work, then you need to keep building. So rain or shine, and well now it can rain some because I have confidence in this roof. So alrighty, take it easy.